Lutheran in South St. Louis, where we are reading through the Gospels together in 2024. We are reading just 2 chapters a week. We invite you to join us. Those reading schedules are available in print in our church library. Pick one up as soon as you can. Last week we read through Matthew chapters 17 and 18. And for our Friday reflection, I'd like to just pick a couple highlights, a couple themes to dwell on a little more, meditate on a little more on Fridays. Looking at chapter 17, I think we have this example of how Jesus can do great things with very little. We have this example of where he's being criticized by the Jewish leaders once again, this time for not paying the temple tax. And Jesus talks about how in secular authorities, secular rulers, their family don't have to pay taxes. How much more should he be exempt from paying taxes at the temple, since he is God the Son, right? But yet Jesus is obedient. He still pays that tax, but he does it in a very unique way. He instructs his disciples to go and to put a hook in the water. And when the first fish you catch comes out of the water, open its mouth, and inside you'll find a shekel. Take it and give it to them to pay the tax for me and for yourself. A miracle. But yet Jesus works through this fish in the water with a shekel in its mouth to provide. And I think that's just a beautiful example of how God can provide in any circumstance. Even when it seems unlikely, even when it seems like resources may be scarce, God provides. He provides with a fish with a coin in its mouth, and he provides in so many different ways today. And sometimes those ways are through you and me and our stewardship and our giving. Yet the Lord provides in great and small ways. Thanks be to God. Chapter 18, I think, also speaks sort of that same theme of smallness and how God cares for even the littlest among us. Maybe in terms of age, we think of children and how Jesus uses them as an example, but also just those who are young in faith, who might be vulnerable in the faith. How Jesus says it'd be better for someone to have a millstone tied around their neck and be cast in the sea, rather than cause one of these little ones who believe in me to sin. That sounds really harsh to us, millstones being thrown in the sea. But boy, it speaks to just how much compassion and care Jesus has for each one of us as individuals, especially the least among us. Thanks be to God for that too, that's the type of God we have, that cares for the children, for the young in faith, for the least among us. We have that example too in chapter 18, where that example of the shepherd leaving the 99 and going after that one who's gone astray. I mean, we have that same kind of care and compassion for the least among us, whoever that may be, whether that's the young or the vulnerable, whether that's those who perhaps can't care for themselves as well anymore, thinking of our in-home ministry members and others, or those who maybe haven't been in worship for a while, that we too would have a care and compassion, that we too would seek after them just as Jesus does. God's blessings as you continue the study of his word and as we get close to Holy Week.